violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. And let's get into the video.
The polls open, the family of a Brooklyn man who was shot and killed back in 2018 is calling out Republican gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin for airing an ad that shows the man's final moments. News 12's Jeanne Caldwell is at a rally outside Brooklyn Borough Hall where that family is demanding Zeldin remove the ad that they say falsely portrays him as an attacker. Jeanne.
Yeah, and Dan, it was an emotional rally. Now, if you recall, Saheed Vassell was shot and killed by NYPD officers back in 2018 after police say he had a metal pipe, but they thought it was a gun. Well, today...
Oh, yes. I remember this case. You know, if you're walking around upping a metal pipe at people, trying to portray it as a gun, you know, some people might likely think that you're pointing a weapon at them. So that's oftentimes why police might respond in an aggressive manner, because somebody has called the police on you saying that, hey, there's a man walking around with a gun and he's flashing it at people.
His family says Zeldin's ad, which shows a clip of that footage, has caused them immense pain and suffering. Now, this is video of the ad.
That looks like a gun, and and the family's trying to say, "Oh, he wasn't an aggressor." Dude, he looks aggressive enough, flailing his arms, pointing what we now know to be a metal pipe, but what any citizen of New York City could have perceived as a gun. Very aggressive movements, especially the speed in which he drew his arm up there, the way in which he did it as if he actually had a real gun. Very aggressive movements. I'm not seeing what the family is trying to get us to see.
Now, this is video of the ad in question. You can see Vassell pointing the metal pipe in someone's face in what appears to be a threatening way. The ad then shows a montage of violent crimes with a voiceover that reads, "Vote like your life depends on it." Now, his family says the ad is misleading because it misrepresents the circumstances of Vassell's death. Vassell suffered from mental health illnesses.
And there you have it. Well, he suffered from mental health illnesses. Translation, he was high on PCP, methamphetamines, heroin, or that George Floyd.
And his dad says he was not a violent criminal. The family says they have asked Zeldin to remove the ad multiple times, writing a letter and even sending a cease and desist. But as of today, that ad has yet to be taken down. Now, this rally comes just a day ahead of tomorrow's midterm election as Zeldin prepares to face off against Governor Kathy Hochul in what has become a competitive race. But Vassell's family says this is not how they want him to be remembered.
Today, I am asking Mr. Lee Zeldin to take down that racist ad. The community is up.
So now it's racist because your child was acting a fool in the streets. And look, I get it. You know, the drug epidemic is real. Kids getting strung out. But let's keep it a buck. Guys like that are they're what's making New York City unbearable to live right now. Okay, so, you know, if your kid was doing the right thing, then he probably wouldn't have been in the ad. Or maybe he would have just been an extra, as if like maybe a B-roll going on about his day. You know, not understanding how close he is to a crime being committed. But, oh man, I mean, it's wild. It sounds like to me they're trying to get a check, getting the news involved, you know, coming with these picket fences, wearing Black Lives Matter shirts when we know that Black Lives Matter is a scam. They're still wearing the Black Lives Matter paraphernalia.
Asking Mr. Zeldin to take down that racist ad. The friends and family are asking Mr. Zeldin to take down that racist ad because my son Sahid Basu was a loving, a kind person. He was not a violent criminal. Thank you.
And we reached out to Zeldin's office for a comment on this, but are still waiting to hear back. For now, in downtown Brooklyn, Johnny Caldwell, News 12.
Well, tonight, a man is charged with drunk driving in a crash that seriously injured a woman on Long Island. The 36-year-old woman was hit by that driver after she got out of her own disabled car on the Saginaw State Parkway over the weekend. Both of her legs had to be amputated.
Damn.
Long Island reporter Shantae Lands talked to the victim's mother today.
Wow. Life-altering scenario here. Legs having to be amputated on account of a drunk driver. Very tragic. I can't imagine that feeling. It's crazy, bro. I mean, the streets, they're deadly, man. They really are.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm just thankful my daughter's alive. I'm thankful she's alive.
A flurry of emotions pour out of Roberta Vanderveer outside of Stony Brook Hospital. Her firstborn, her 36-year-old daughter, Dejanay Vanderveer, was struck by an alleged drunk driver early Saturday morning on Saginaw State Parkway. The single mother from Rockville Center lost both her legs. An off-duty Suffolk County police officer,
and she got kids. That's crazy.
Returning home from a wedding, saw her, stopped, and helped.
And he took off his tie, and he set a tourniquet around one of her legs, and he took off his belt, and he tourniqueted her other leg.
Damn.
And another police officer.
I mean, listen to how brave these police officers are. You don't hear that coming from the defund the police movement.
Tourniquet her arm, and so she wouldn't bleed out.
He doesn't even know her, but he took the time to save her from bleeding out. And that, to me, deserves more than just a thank you.
Can we get a picture of this officer? I mean, a lot of these officers are being overlooked, and they're not getting their flowers. I know these rappers, all these rappers are talking about, oh, I want my flowers before I die. I want my flowers. But these police officers need their flowers. Because these super gremlins are on demon time.
Vanderveer's aunt, mother, brother, and 15-year-old son all returned to the hospital.
I'm kind of trying my best to keep together. It's fairly difficult to see my mom one day with legs and then another day just her in the hospital.
Saturday's DWI crash was one of 3 over the weekend on Long Island. A person died at the 2 other crashes, but Vanderveer survived.
Wow.
The driver that struck Vanderveer has been identified as Kevin Rosadaki of Brooklyn. He was charged with DWI.
His life is the same. Nothing happened. All he gets to do is read what happened, but he doesn't get to feel it.
Well, I mean, he's gonna go to prison, I guess, right? Or, you know, usually with these DWIs, DUIs, you know, you can evade prison sentence, do a program, you know, have to breathe into a breathalyzer every time you get in the car, and not go to jail. That's the law, but this is very tragic. Somebody's got to pay for them legs, bruh. But, whew, man, can't even imagine.
He doesn't have to live it, and that's wrong. I think it's just wrong.
Since our interview, Dejanay Vanderveer's family says she's now able to speak. As far as that suspect, they say they hired an attorney, and they're seeking justice.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button like the video. Hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
An ex-boyfriend has been charged with murder in the gruesome killing of a young woman in Brooklyn. Police say they arrested 25-year-old Justin Williams in the death of 22-year-old Deja Johnson. Police say her body parts were found inside 2 suitcases in September and in a...
Wow, so guys, remember we covered this story on the sister Deja Johnson. She was dismembered, okay, in Brooklyn. Body found in 2 suitcases. Speaking of amputations, right? Very sad story. But we found the perpetrator, an ex-boyfriend. Why these sisters keep dating these super gremlins, I guarantee he has a rap sheet. But it just seems like it's a fatal attraction.
Apartment in Cypress Hills. Williams was also charged with concealment of a human corpse. Investigators say the woman had an active protection order against him.
Wow, so she had the protective order against him. Obviously, he violated that. Sometimes these dudes will get upset if you put them on papers like that. The attitude is, ooh, this chick got me arrested, and substitute the C word for the B word, and you have it there. I mean, it's a tragedy. This dude should be, you know, he should get the death penalty, but I don't think New York City has the death penalty, so it's sad, man. It's sad. I wish these sisters would start doing background checks on these dudes for real, though.
Cypress Hills. Williams was also charged with concealment of a human corpse. Investigators say the woman had an active protection order against him.
New York cops tonight looking for the boyfriend of the 22-year-old woman whose remains were found late yesterday, stuffed into 2 suitcases in her apartment. Eyewitness News reporter Shantae Lands live at the scene in East New York with our lead story tonight. Shantae.
Bill, friends tell me that 22-year-old woman was sweet and humble. Meanwhile, police entered her home of horror, finding blood in the bathroom, a meat cleaver, and her remains stuffed in 2 suitcases.
Damn.
Evidence bags brought out by detectives in East New York after a tenant's dismembered body was wheeled out of Linwood Park Apartments. Her remains were found stuffed inside 2 suitcases.
Young girl had not lived. It's devastating. I think it's just inhumane.
The gruesome discovery happened during a wellness check after complaints of a foul odor.
It's horrific, especially coming across the street from a school. I mean, it's just sad.
The woman, who was just 20.
And that's all the community has to say about this. Oh, it's just sad. I mean, I don't know what you can say. These brothers, they are definitely taking these sisters out at a very high rate compared to other groups and demographics. So it's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed. Not enough attention on it. I try and spread as much awareness on it because I understand how domestic violence escalates, and I understand that it can be difficult for some women to escape the grasps of their abuser. But my idea is prevention. So doing your research on a guy, you know, being intentional when it comes to dating, you know, avoiding these situations, getting into healthy long-term relationships, all right, with a viable partner. But they may not come in the package that you always want them to come in. And that's something that you have to settle for. I know women hate that word, settle. You have to sacrifice because obviously this dude is a bum. But he might have given off that hood rich persona, and that might have won her heart.
T2 lived on the 6th floor. Neighbors told security they had not seen her in weeks. Police say when the guard went to check, he was blocked by 2 men. One of them was the woman's boyfriend. When the guard went downstairs to call police, they snuck out. Detectives believe with a bag of evidence.
It makes me scared to even be around here. Like I'm just sick.
Friends say she moved in 2 years ago when the affordable housing building first opened. Neighbors say they heard fighting 2 weeks ago between the couple. Police say she was in a relationship off and on with her 23-year-old boyfriend and that he violated her protection order.
Damn.
Hope they find him, if that's the case.
And police are still searching for that woman's boyfriend. The medical examiner will determine how that woman died. Also, they are trying to they're investigating this right now as a possible homicide.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.